Hi everyone, I ordered this Poseidon X Matte Black gravel bike from Poseidon a few weeks ago, and I just went on my first ride, so I thought I'd make a little video talking about my thoughts about the bike and do a little quick unboxing video. So start this video. So I went and I picked up the bike in La Habra myself because I happen to live nearby. And the guys were really cool. They threw in some extra water bottle cages and some water bottles for me, and drove it back home. Unfortunately, it's crazy traffic, so I probably wouldn't do it again. So I ordered the large. I'm 5'11", and my inseam to the floor is 33 inches. So according to the sizing chart, I would be a large. Um, Probably a medium would have been a little bit better, and I probably should have gotten a medium, but the large is fine. So I noticed that it came in one of these boxes that looks like a TV box, and I thought that they were just trying to be cheap and repurposing TV boxes to put their bikes in. But then I realized they're probably doing this on purpose so that the shipping people think that it's a TV and treat it a little more gently. It came really well packed, and everything's bubble wrap, and there's all these there's the seat right there. So the seat's not super comfortable for me, but it was fine. I took it on a 50-mile bike ride right off the bat, and what wasn't too bad. And it's got all these zip ties everywhere, and you have to clip all the zip ties. I was using scissors to do the zip ties. Probably would have been better with pliers. But anyway, taking the seat out and pulling out the thing. The um, the reason I got this gravel bike is because I wasn't sure that I was really gonna like it too much, and I have one road bike right now, which is an old giant OCR Limited, um, and I wanted to do some of the fire roads up in the mountains, and I don't like the idea of driving my bike in a car to the trailhead and then riding the bike from the trailhead. I'd rather just leave from home, ride the bike to the trailhead, and then ride the trail and come back. And I tried to do that on this old mountain bike I had, and that was just way too much work. And so I thought a gravel bike would be perfect since I wasn't going to be doing anything super technical or single track, but mainly just 4x4 roads in the mountains. And so that's why I got this Poseidon X. It was when I bought it, it was $699, which was I thought was a good price, and I didn't need like a super light, super high-end gravel bike. And I just needed a bike that was sturdy and was reliable and would let me do the fire roads in the mountains. And I thought this would fit the bill. And so I went on my first ride this weekend, and I have kind of mixed feelings about it. And I'll tell you why. When I started on the bike ride, I went with some friends of mine, and they all came in their mountain bikes, which probably should have tipped me off to something. And what I realized was a couple of things that the mileage on these fire roads is not in any way comparable to mileage on the road. When my friends called me up to do this bike, they said, "Oh, we'll do about 50 miles um, in the mountains on the trails." And I thought, well, that sounds like a fairly big day, but 50 miles isn't that long. I thought it wouldn't be a problem. But it was way harder. I mean, I would say it's comparable to over 100 miles on the road. Um, so anyway, the bike is pretty. It's very well packaged. It was very easy to put together. All you have to do is attach the handlebars um, to the stem and put the front wheel on, install the seat post, and install the pedals. That was pretty much all I did. I did that, and then I kind of played with the the brakes and adjusted them so they wouldn't rub. This is the first time I have. This is my first disc brake bike, and I will say that the brakes are a little disappointing. So yeah, there's a little box, and in this box is all the little, I think the pedals and other little knickknacks that go with it. But the brakes are very disappointing. I thought disc brakes would be way better than the rim brakes I have. Now, granted, these are cheap, kind of low-end Tecro cable disc brakes, and then I'm comparing them to rim brakes, but they're Ultegra rim brakes on my carbon fiber bike from Giant, and I would say my rim brakes are much better. So here's the rotor to the front wheel, the pedals. I didn't use these pedals. I put on some SPD pedals. There's the quick release, and there's the rotor. There it comes with a bunch of reflectors too, but I didn't put the reflectors on because, why do I need reflectors? Yeah, so Poseidon bike. Overall, I recommend the bike. I think it's a great value for the price. Um, it was responsive. It accelerates pretty fast. The gearing I thought would be too low, and so here's the bike after it's all put together, and it's still dirty from my ride. Um, they gave me those bottle cages and bottles for free, and I made good use of them. Here's the SPD pedal I put on. This is the first one by bike that I have, and it worked well. I thought that it was geared too low, and that I would never use this huge gear in the back, but yeah, I used it. I used it a lot. The clutch worked great. I did a lot of descents on this bike during this ride, and I didn't get any chain slap or anything. Um, and yeah, so back to the brakes. Brakes are disappointing. They do not stop extremely well. You have to uh, push on the levers pretty hard for them to brake well. And I think I know one of the major reasons why is because it has this adjustment for the brakes that's in line with the cable. And when you press the lever, a lot of the force is lost. Okay, yeah, so the welds aren't the cleanest. They don't look the greatest, but I think they're strong, especially around the bottom bracket. It's a regular square taper bottom bracket. It works fine. It's got a tapered headset, and it's nice and stiff. Carbon forks seem to work fine. Um, the tires are probably a little narrow for the ride that I did. There was a lot of sand, and it falls into the sand. And my friends were telling me I need to go up to like at least a 40 and go tubeless. And this is the little adjuster here on the brakes. And what happens is when you press the brakes, this adjuster kind of straightens out, and you lose a lot of the tension on the cable by that thing straightening out. And it makes descending on the hoods really hard. My hands were cramping descending on the hoods because you have to apply so much force to control the speed. So I had to descend in the drops, which was a little uncomfortable. When you from the drops, you get plenty of leverage on the handle so that the brakes work fine. But yeah, the brakes are not as strong and as good as I would hope. I think if I changed out the brake cable and got rid of those adjusters, it would work fine. But this is the ride that we did. It was about 4,000 feet of elevation gain. I ended up bonking and getting heat exhaustion. It was 107 degrees this day, which was probably not the best idea to do a ride like this. So yeah, so I took a picture here while I was on the bike because this is what I thought the fire roads were going to be like, and it was perfect for this. So if the stuff you want to ride looks like this, perfect. You will not have any problem. But most of the trail was really rocky, sandy, lots of ruts, puddles. It was, um, as a road rider, I'm not very experienced, and it was very technical for me, and it was hard. It was really hard to ride the bike on this. But this was perfect. It feels like this, it would have been a breeze. But it was pretty rocky and rough. These are my buddies. They're all on mountain bikes, and the mountain bike was clearly better for the type of terrain we were riding. This is the early part in the foothills, which was very easy riding, so no problems with this kind of stuff. And yeah, so I bonked hard. I was heading into heat exhaustion, and these guys came by and they rescued me, and they put my bike in the back of their truck and drove me to the Santa Ana River. And then I soaked in the river and I felt way better. So yeah, we came up this thing. I zonked out somewhere around here, and they drove me from here to here where the river is. Yep, to like here. Yeah, they drove me. I think I zonked out around here, and then they drove me to here. And then I soaked in the river, felt a lot better, and then climbed out of there and came home. Um, but yeah, it's overall, I'm glad I got the bike. It's great. Like this ride out from Pines Anita out to Angeles Oaks um, is a nice dirt road that's well maintained. The bike was very easy on that, but this unmaintained 4x4 road in the back here, it's huge ruts, lot of rocks, a lot of sand. It was definitely more challenging than I expected. I think if as I ride it more and I become a little bit better of a gravel rider, it might be fine. I think I'm going to uh, just kind of have lower expectations of the mileage I can put it in the mountains on this bike. Like I think this 50-mile ride was probably more than I could handle at my fitness level, especially on a hot day. I'm sure if it was like 60 or 70 degrees, it would have been fine. But wow, 105, 107 degrees, it was horrible. And I totally felt like sick. And if those guys hadn't rescued me, it would have been a really rough day. But overall, the bike is very nice. The shifting works really well. And my only disappointment would be the brakes aren't great. And I I'm definitely going to have to move to a tubeless and a wider tire to do those kinds of roads. I th- I think what I'm going to do is just keep riding these tires and avoid the more technical roads for a while, and then when these tires wear out, I'm going to switch over to some 40s, 40 millimeters and go tubeless. All right, well, thanks for watching. If you have any questions that I might be able to answer, just comment below and I'll try to answer them. Thanks.